good. Just, I'm just chatting. I'm just going on YouTube, seeing what's going on. And you guys will be here on that, along with me on that journey. I'll be on YouTube for hours, so this might be a long ass thing. Might not be. I don't know. Who fucking knows? I get bored. I'm gonna stop. If I get bored, like I don't feel like doing it no more, I'll probably change it, and I'll probably do that, or I don't know, go out and live a life. I don't. Oh, I'm talking. The mic is right here. Apologies. I hate this. It's all come on, give me that tight. I want that tight shit. That good tight.
You can pay attention to and do deep dives on
Right.
before you lose your.
I don't have there you go. Much.
fucking mind. And with him, I was always like, oh, that guy, they grab him by the guy, it's probably not good for the country. That seems crazy. But as time went on, I was like, oh, you need a guy.
What's going on, you guys? Today we have Joe Rogan falling apart, literally spiraling right in front of our faces. I'm playing the clip from the Kyle Kalinske show to give a little bit of context, some of my commentary. Let's watch.
Rogan has now officially and fully hopped on the Trump train. One could even argue he's a conductor on said train. For the past however many years, he's always been anti-Trump. And, you know, arguments from his mouth were that I support free college, I support universal health care, I support higher minimum wage. He went after Trump for how he treated immigrants in the first term. As you all know, Joe supported Bernie Sanders back in, was it 2016 or 2020? It had to be 2020, right?
I'm gonna pause this, right? Because I'm gonna do this often because I'm clearly talking to you guys, right, in the middle of this, and I'm gonna just say this. Hold on. There you go. That's a little bit better. And I'm gonna say this, right? When it comes to this type of shit right here, this type of content, and even like I would say even like our political sphere as it is. I really strongly believe that this shit is intentionally done. And I'm talking about like the black versus white thing. I 100% think this is an intentional move, right? Because if we really want to break down racism, if we really want to break down racism, right? In my experience, I known poor white folks, right? And I've gone to school at predominantly white schools. And there are ghetto kids in that school, and there are fucking posh kids and there are rich kids. Just like if you go to a black school, there are ghetto kids in that school, just like how there are posh and there are rich kids, right? And I've known Trailer Trash, or I don't even want to call them that. I call them niggas, because that's really the big distinction. And like, we are all the same, dude. Like, we commit the same crimes. We even do the same shit, right? Even when like, if you look at all this stuff politically, they like black on black crime. When you look at crime and how crime is done, we do crime to our own people. So black people are going to do black people, white people are going to do white people, and so on and so forth. Because those are your neighbors. Unfortunately, right, those few people, because there are a few people, like I do believe that in this world, mostly in this world, there are good people. I think the good people outnumber bad people by such a large margin. But they're quiet. They don't yell. They're not screaming at the top of their lungs that how good and how virtuous they are. You know what I mean? I say all that, right? I say all that just to talk about what this guy was just talking about. Bernie Sanders, I believe the majority of people, even people who are radicalized, because that's what I'm going to call it, radicalized lefties, radicalized righties. Pick one, right? Fucking, even they're radicalized. I think that wouldn't have happened if Bernie was in there. We were all, for the most part, it seemed to me unified. Oh, socialism, but that's the news. You can't trust rich people. The real divide is not between black people and white people. It's between the people who can and who can't. You know what I'm saying? Like us middle class and lower, or even upper wealthy, right? Those in lower, versus these rich motherfuckers who are getting shit and doing it. And it just makes sense to have us fight each other, right? Then fucking it just makes more sense to us fight each other than blaming the real enemy. The real people who are destroying the planet. The real people who are keeping black people, white people, name of people in their fucking place. You feel what I'm saying? Like, keeping us in our place. Alright? We fight each other while they fucking trample us. And we just keep going and keep going and keep going. And you know, it is what it is. It's just, I don't think it's what it is. And I think the internet and all that stuff is exasperating this. But it is what it is. I'm just a passenger, baby. I'm a dude reviewing the dude who reviewed the dude. Let's press play.
I think it was 2020, but either way, that's neither here nor there. This is who Rogan was.
I don't like this.
Right, and then over time, slowly but surely, gone further and further right. Surrounded himself with more right-wing people. You know, as on people like Ben Shapiro, semi-regularly, other conservative commentators semi-regularly, hangs out with edgy right-leaning comedians, hangs out with right-leaning UFC fighters, is buddies with Dana White, who's a dyed-in-the-wool Republican. So over time, he's gone further and further right. Well, now, Rogan has come out and decided to shatter all meat-riding records about Trump. Let's listen and we'll break it down.
The quote about Trump, or the narrative about Trump, has always been that he's bullshitting everybody, that he's a con man. He's definitely very persuasive. You know, Scott Adams has wrote about this pretty much in depth, about how well Trump practices the art of persuasion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the art of the deal. He's great at making people his friend and making relationships, and if you're his enemy, fuck you, scorched earth. You know, it's like this, and there's fear of that. You don't want to get on his bad side. There's all this, like, there's this art of, like, how he negotiates, and it's gone through this years and years and years of business. But that's him. That's the guy's right there.
So in other words, he starts by saying, people call Trump a con man, and then by the end he's like, but that's just him. He's authentically him. Yes, Joe, he's authentically a con man.
And look, I'm not sticking up for Joe Rogan or Donald Trump, but I mean, I will say that they are just the faces of this broken country, of this rotten system. We're going to have, you know...
That's funny. So, okay, so this is what's happening right now. I'm literally reacting to a guy reacting to a guy reacting. That's insane. This is the internet rabbit hole that you have walked into. Welcome. Welcome, I tell you. Welcome.
As far as the progressive movement goes, they're all going to be saying, hey, look, we're all...
I thought they were the same person. So earlier when I paused it, I'm like, why is he... Stop it right there. I could have just watched this video. It's funny because y'all don't even gotta...
all about, you know, diversity. We're all
I'm
about
going
inclusion.
to it.
We're still going to...
I'm actually going to contact this dude. After I do this video, I'm going to edit this. And I'm going to contact him. Just to, like, hear what he thinks. Because this got to be, like, I don't know. This got to be crazy in some fucking sense, right? It has to be.
Have the same type of economic violence. We're still
Wild
going to be
world.
just as ruthless.
Wild world.
You know, we had whenever it was Obama who came in and he bailed out Wall Street. He let the homeowners down. These are regular people that got let down. So as far as Joe Rogan and Donald Trump are concerned, yeah, they suck. But I mean, the reason why they're falling into the system, the reason why they're so jaded and why other people are believing in them is because, yeah, they're openly cruel. They're being a little bit crazy, but it's coming across as a little bit real, which is why people are buying into it. It's just the base of a rotten system.
By the way, great interview you did with him, where you asked him about the millions of dollars he had to pay out over the Trump University scam, or the massive fraud that was revealed that he's done vis-a-vis charity, his own charity,
vis-a-vis,
or how he stiffed workers when he built his casinos and his hotels, or his 91 criminal charges and the fraud charges he's been found liable for in New York. He was found liable for fraud in New York. Business fraud, insurance fraud, tax fraud, etc. We went over the details of the case. So he starts out by saying, yeah, the knock on him is that he's like this con man guy. But then he goes on to say, yeah, but he's like authentically himself. Yeah, he's authentically a con man. Something you used to know. Something you used to understand. Now not so much. It's going to get a lot worse. Here we go.
Talk to him about everything and anything. He's right there. He's not protecting
What's up, y'all?
you.
Oh my God. Trump said to Rogan's face that he never said lock her up. I never said lock her up. And people in the audience would say, and I was like, whoa, don't go there.
But I don't really like these vapes.
Joe,
they be fucking with
he
my.
said lock her up.
I don't like the way
that was
shit feels.
fucking
Don't listen to
campaign
me.
slogans that he repeated in rallies a bunch of times, and we showed the videos of it, by the way.
Do your vapes.
But now,
Yes.
look,
Do the crack. Do all the crack. Don't listen to me. Don't demonetize me because I said
and
that.
I agree. He feels authentic.
Well, I don't
He's
have
not.
money. But
The feel is
still,
incorrect.
don't.
This is what happens. You're witnessing what happens when you do politics by vibes. That's what you're witnessing here with Joe Rogan.
He's not protecting any of his ideas. He
Oh,
called a
is that
girl
the
he
preheat joint on
allegedly
it?
slept with horse face.
You got seconds?
On Twitter.
That's so funny.
It's the
No?
wildest shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but okay, now we're getting somewhere.
I got you.
Right? This is the real reason why you support him, because he's
Nah,
funny.
you can bring it up though. If
'Cause
you want
he's
to drink
funny.
your shit and I drink
He's
my shit,
genuinely
that's
like a comedian, like an
absolutely
insult
fine
comic,
for me.
like
And
Tony
then when I run out of my
Hitchcock,
shit,
right?
I'm gonna look at your shit
I
like,
him,
you think
but at least
maybe?
stand on it.
I can
Like,
get a
hey, I
little.
actually disagree with all the policies, but since he's so funny, I'm gonna be purely vibes based and support him on that alone. Like if you said that, okay, at least it's honest. Or
Whenever I see Joe Rogan now, I see it's a guy who's just dejected. You know,
All right, let's see what we got here. Hey, that's my nigga Dan. That's my guy. Hey, that's my nigga Dan. That's my guy. Ooh, let's go.
It was the summer of last year, and I was a broke college student. My parents were happy to help with paying for the education, but my university was in an urban and rather upscale area. So despite the fact that most of my tuition was covered, I was still struggling to get by living costs. Food, clothes, and utilities were all very expensive. I worked long and hard hours at a local coffee shop as a barista, but this was starting to interfere with my education. I majored in biotechnology, which was a very difficult and competitive field of study at my school. The classes I had to take were extremely difficult and time-consuming. Sometimes I would stay up for several days together in order to balance out studying, attending lectures, and going to work. But hey, someone had to pay for bus passes, and someone had to pay for my groceries. I didn't want to have to sacrifice my grades and future career opportunities solely due to the fact that I needed money right now. The worst part of all this was that I barely had a life of my own. With midterms coming up and finals a few weeks after that,
Bitch,
hanging
suffer.
out with friends or just having fun in general really wasn't an option.
Suffer. 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 I'm like, what's that echo? That's my fucking phone. No, just suffer. I'm sorry. Like, I did that shit, man. Trying to go for a quick buck. I'm 36. If you're a young nigga watching this shit, think about that. I'm 36, right? And I work. I get shit done. But the shit is hard. Right? So, yeah, you could take this quick route. You can. It does exist. But you got to think about what that shit do to you. I ain't no preach. I ain't no preacher. I ain't no priest. You know what I mean? I'm definitely not the nigga to give no advice. What I've done with my own goddamn life, who the fuck, right? But with that being said, it's like, when you go through them routes, bro, it's shit they take away from you. It's shit they don't talk about. You know what I mean? Like, and me, I ain't never do OnlyFans, but I did some shit. You know what I mean? I did some shit, and it's a piece of you that they take, that shit right there, that kind of work takes away from you. All right? Like, even if you think, let's say you think you a pimp, and you fucking putting bitches out there doing the work, there's a piece that's being taken from you. All right? I don't know where it's going or who you giving it to, but it takes it from you. I don't know if you get it back. So I don't know. I don't know, man. What's this money worth? You know, like, just like how I said earlier at the beginning of the stream, they want us chasing this fucking carrot, man. They want us chasing this money carrot. They want us chasing another person's view of success. Honestly, it can't be. I don't think like success, intelligence, and creativity. I don't think these things can be quantified by what the next person is doing. I think they could only be quantified by what you are doing with yourself. Because at the end of the day, are you more creative than you were yesterday? Are you more successful by your metric than you were yesterday? So, and it, I guess, like, when you think about that type of shit, what is success? What is that thriving goal? You know? Is having all the money in the world? Are you successful? Look at Elon Musk. That nigga is sad. You can't tell me he not sad. All right? It should... How we've been told about this world, right? It shouldn't make sense that I'm happier than that billionaire. It don't make sense. I'm happier than that rich motherfucker doing the shit he doing. Come on, man. If that right there ain't enough for you to go, well, damn, maybe selling my pussy for the internet ain't enough. Because look, think about it. Let's go to our natural conclusions, right? Let's say you are the best OnlyFans bitch in the world. Man, bitch, nigga, whatever. Pick one. You the best in the world. Ooh, highest paid, whatever. Do you want that? Is that even a title you want? You know, like all this shit is like a butterfly effect. One thing affects another. One thing affects another. That's why I look at this shit. I look at young people. Our world is all fucked up, and it's like it's filled with all this shit, right? It's filled with so much shit, and we've strayed so far from what we remember traditionally, right? We've strayed so far, and you know what? And I used to think it was a bad thing. It is a good thing. It shows who we are, where we've become as human beings. You know what I'm saying? So it takes us to that next level, and us, the millennials, the Gen Zs, the Generation X, or the boomers, all of these generations are actually coming together, and we're going through what I like to call growing pains of a better society. You know what I mean? So we're going through this shit. Hopefully in a decade or two, people will be like, that fucking women this, and then that shit goes away. You know? But that's where we're in. We're in the middle of our growing pains. And this is going to decide what kind of human beings we'll set the rest of our species on. You know what I mean? Fuck us. We're dead. We're dinosaurs. It's over. You know, let's use some 20-year-old. But guess what, bro? You're dead. It's over. The only thing that matters, and I know this shit sounds crazy because it's from anime, is the will of fire. We need to make sure that our next generation is popping. That they're equipped. And not just, I don't have kids. So not just like people that are related to me. Any fucking child. Once you get to a certain age, you are a mentorship. And that's what you should be doing. Mentoring these people under you. Still chase your shit. Still try to be somebody. But put that shit into somebody, you know? I know I've been talking whole long rants, but that's why y'all here. I'm about to go start drinking heavily. Then I'm about to start smoking heavily. So I'm going to... all that positive advice and then talking about how I'm going to go start doing drinking and smoking. It's not crack. That should count for something, I think. I'm not going to go smoke crack. So, peace out, y'all.